Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Mardek, and of course last time we caught up on some side quests, and most notably, picked up this here little wooden key, which should be our way into that room that we saw in the Earth Temple here previously, but of course couldn't find our way into. So, what exactly awaits us on the other side? I'm curious if you guys have any guesses there. And, well, perhaps I'll make things a little bit easier for you to try to anticipate, because let's just say, let's make a point of swapping some people around here, swapping some gear around, some skills, all that stuff. So, Charla has been great for us. Don't get me wrong here. She's been fantastic in the Earth Temple because she has access to those air elemental spells, and those have been capable of dealing a whole lot of damage. So that's great. She's also extremely close to leveling up there, 98%, but unfortunately I think for now we're going to have to pass on that. Let's leave Legion. I'm going to throw in Donovan. You'll see why in, well, perhaps just a little bit. As for who we want on our last person here, besides Mardek, of course, we want to stick with Vern. Vern, as we've been starting to see, is definitely capable of dealing his fair share of damage. Doesn't even matter if he's using any of his skills. Even the default attack we saw was dealing upwards of 2,000 damage, as long as we're hitting our reactions. So, that is, of course, with spirit and strength scaling. So when we're going all out trying to scale his damage, that is the case. Is there someone else we'd rather put there, though? Someone who's maybe a little bit more versatile? Because that's one thing with Vern. He did now recently learn that healing ability, Lay on Hands, which is useful, yes. But we might find that there are other people like, say, Gloria, who has all the nulls, can also heal, and can also deal damage of almost every element. She's more versatile, perhaps, and that might be reason enough to use her instead. So, why don't we try that? Except, oh, hold on. On second thought, let's stick with Vern. You'll see why in just a second. Let's go to items now. Let's look at that. And, well, what I think we're going to want to do here is load up on some resistances. Not Earth. Of course, that's what we were trying to do previously when we were facing predominantly Earth Elemental enemies in here. This time around, though, I think we're going to find things are going to go a little bit differently. So I'm going to take off all of our Earth pendants, and instead, say, put on things of a different variety. Say, the Fire Persuasion. We'll throw as many of those on as we have. I think we do have a reasonable amount of those. Should be able to put them on everybody. At least one, if not multiple. There we go, Zach's got them all. So we have one for Vern, we have one for Mardek. We now have one for Legion. And then our last person we said, I think was going to be Donovan. So let's throw that on there. Then, aside from that, Donovan, we could put on the more powerful spear for you, the one that, say, Carla was just using. Oh, well, it gives the plus 20% magic damage reaction. However, Donovan, you have what is arguably a stronger spear. At the moment, this is the one that we got from the Fire Guardian, so why don't you keep that, to tell you the truth? And you have mastered this offensive reaction here, so we could consider throwing on the Feather Crest instead, because that gives the other offensive reaction that you have not yet learned. I know we were using it on Vern because it gives +1 spirit, and we're trying to maximize the spirit on Vern. There are other ways to do that, though, because I think there's at least the crown that gives +1 to all attributes, whoever is currently using that. I thought it was someone in our party previously. Yeah, it's Charla. So this doesn't have as much in the way of the magic defense. I think we'll see that Gloria's old helmet has 4 magic defense, whereas the crown only has 1. However, it does give +1 to all attributes, not just spirit. So if we're trying to scale strength as well, then in some ways, this could be better in terms of pure offense at least. The spell offensive reaction, not as meaningful for Vern because it's mostly just the green lightning, which I don't think we're going to be using too often. Whereas on Donovan, maybe that's a little bit more relevant. We'll see. Other than that, we were ever so briefly using the Elortian robes so that we could learn Purity for our spellcasters, because this is the only way they can do that. But there might be a better option here. Say, I mean, the thing that I'm mostly thinking about is how, sure, it gives us this skill. It does give a little bit of HP, dark, light resistance, those are also not bad. A little bit of spirit for some additional power with the spells, but just 4 defense and 2 magic defense at this stage in the game is pretty bad, to tell you the truth. So, could we say throw on something a little bit different in that case? Maybe even the inventing coat? You'll see why quite soon, I believe. So this will give us some fire resistance, a little bit less HP, but better defense and same magic defense. Also resistance to confusion, which, well, when that happens, it's bad. So I suppose it's a nice little safety blanket. Let's go with that, and then the lucky coin was nice for a while, at least to try to learn the loot finder ability, which at some point maybe we'll try to master. But as of right now, in case you can't tell, we're kind of prepping for a battle here, and I don't necessarily think an item that is specifically catered toward giving loot is going to be the most useful. We could perhaps throw on the Dragon Blood Charm. Gives the numbness immunity, and also a little bit of fire resistance. Donovan has not yet mastered Strength Boost, which may or may not be reason enough to throw this on here. I'm curious as to where that leaves Donovan in terms of total fire resistance, because we put on a lot of stuff there. Yeah, 190. And bear in mind, that's not even considering how we could throw on the magic fire resistance for another 50%. So that might be kind of overkill. We might not need at least one of these things. We could say throw on something other than the inventing coat for the chest piece. This is where 50% of that fire resistance is coming from, yes, but I'm thinking of something like perhaps the robe that gives us the rainbow aura? Let's take a look. Who's using that? Or even, we've had this for a while, the green robe, but it is strong in terms of having magic defensive reactions. Could be worth considering. But yeah, the lesser rainbow shirt has pretty solid defense and magic defense, and a little bit of resistances across the board. So it's a little more versatile in that way. Maybe we could use the invented coat on someone else. And Donovan has not yet mastered the Rainbow Ore ability. This might be a reasonable time to throw that on. Let's check out what your passive RP is looking like. You have precisely none of it used here, so sure, let's put that on. Why don't we? Other than that, we could put on suppleness if we're concerned about numbness immunity, and that could be a way of not having to equip that accessory that we were talking about previously. Otherwise, we could load up on things like strength, agility, which, well, let's throw on suppleness. Maybe even MP? Tell you what, let's go MP. And let's just double check. Do the magic fire resistance on here, that's good. Let's upgrade minus 10% to minus 20% damage. And then, oh, you have lots of stuff to do here as well. There's that new offensive reaction. You can put that on. In terms of physical reactions, you could put on poison or degeneration. Take your pick. Let's go with poison. Okay, so there's Donovan. I think he is in a decent place now. Should be a little less on the fire resistance, just 170 now, but again, with that magic reaction, he's going to be still at the maximum 200%, and it gives us a little bit of other resistances as well, so that's kind of nice. Other than that, we have these other people who definitely could use a little bit more, perhaps, of other stuffs. And, oh, we were also talking about maybe giving the Dragon Blood Charm to someone else. If we're looking to maximize fire resistance for others, then this is a way to put on a little bit of resistance in the accessory slot. Let's look at skills for a second here, because remember that both Mardek and Vern do have the fire resistance ability here, so if we take off a little bit of the vitality, I know it was nice on Mardek, yes, but we put this on, and then let's just see where that leaves Mardek. That's 100% right there. So, and again, that is without considering this magic fire here. So that means this would mean for spells, he's going 150% resistance, he would actually heal. So that sounds good. And for that reason, maybe Mardek is in decent shape here as well. Antibody, maybe swap that out for suppleness. And, okay. Anything else that's kind of loot-centric or gold or experience that we might not want to have here? Loot finder? No? Okay, so I like where Mardek is in that case. However, he's actually still using the emerald here, which is something that we were using previously to master an ability, but is maybe not all that important long-term. So we could throw something else on there. We do also have the Firestone Ring, which gives some resistance to numbness, but most notably a little bit more fire resistance if we wanted to make sure that Mardek was healing to fire no matter what. Then that could be a way to make that happen. Legion, though, I think you're going to be the most difficult one to stack that fire resistance on, so maybe we throw that on you, because you definitely have not mastered resist fire, because you can't wear the flame mail chestplate, which, come to think of it, is something else we could do if we are truly looking to put on as much fire resistance as humanly possible, which we may. And in this case, it's going to be a question of, well, who has it? Another thing that would give us a little bit of fire resistance would be the Night Jacket. Gives 20%, which is more than the lesser rainbow shirt that we put on Donovan. However, this is also giving Donovan access to the rainbow ore, like we saw before. Because he's not yet mastered this, the only way he's going to have access to it is by equipping this armor here. So I think we stick with this. Okay, so Vern, if we were to put this on you, then I think we would find that you may not even need a fire pendant. Or we could, say, put it on Mardek and he wouldn't need a fire pendant. That's probably true. That way we can double up on Legion, make sure that he's on 100%. And then 150 once we factor in that actual fire defensive reaction. So that sounds good. Now Vern, I think you will still have enough. And we could put on, say, the Night Jacket for you, because you've already mastered Resist Fire. So that's 50% from the skill there. 50% from this means it's 100% total. 20% from this means 120. 20% for this means 140. What we should find on Vern, I believe. So, if we go here... Oh, okay, we need to activate the skill for Vern. That's why that's not over 100 yet. Yeah, it's right here. So it does mean taking off some of that crazy spirit stacking that we saw before, or strength stacking, some combination of those things. Which is a little bit unfortunate. If that was one of the primary reasons why we wanted to have Vern here, then we're perhaps going to need to reconsider slightly. But the main reason why I want to keep him is because he has access to resist fire, he has mastered it. There aren't too many people who have done that at this stage. So then we do still have 5 RP remaining. Why don't we throw on suppleness with that? Okay, now we should find everyone is at or above 100% fire resistance. Let's just double check reaction side. So for you, Vern, let's take off Earth, put on Fire. Done. The passives. We might have a little bit of wiggle room here. If we took off Evasion, we could put on Dark, but I don't think that's super relevant right now. Then on the offensive reaction side, you of course have a ton of options here. But I think for the most part, we probably do have what we want, unless we could upgrade slightly with our 1 remaining RP. Say, take off Drain HP, throw on Crit plus 20%. Not sure we want to take that risk, though, because Drain HP is useful just to keep us a little bit healthier. So in that case, I think at this point, we just fill out our remaining spots with whatever items we want. Boosting life, boosting MP, boosting strength, spirit, whatever you please. That is probably going to be alright. So, the other thing we could do is, of course, we picked up the shields recently that give the additional elemental resistances, but that might also be passable without this, because this gives us 16% more. If we wanted to, say, get rid of the Shield of Light, or the Rune Shield, then that might be a reasonable option for us to pursue, but this does give +1 Spirit for Vern, which is not a bad thing. Certainly not. It does give Spell Resist 30% though, which is nice. Maybe that's worthwhile. So let's throw that on, in that case, because I think Vern... Well, you do have plenty, actually, of defensive reaction RP. Well, that's because you previously were using this from your shield, and we just took it away from you. That's not a coincidence. Okay. Gotcha. Now we should find people are even more loaded, particularly Vern. So that means if these guys hit the reactions, they're at 200%, the maximum amount of fire res. Legion, you're at 150. That's still quite good. then just a matter of putting on accessories for Mardek and one for Donovan. And in said spots, I'm thinking we might want to put something like some kind of bangle. Either the emerald one for life or the sapphire one for spirit and MP. And I'm leaning toward emerald because I think the survivability from that is nice. So let's throw that on, and apparently we're going to need to look elsewhere. Someone else's inventory. Didn't have that. Unless I missed it, but it seems as though someone else is holding on to him. Carla has one. Let's take that. Could even put on 2 for Mardek, which wouldn't be a bad idea, perhaps. That is a lot of HP we'd be adding. There is also the Eclipse Amulet, which does give a nice combination of defenses, spirit, and light and dark resistances. Not a terrible idea, but I think I'm going to pass on that for now. And Mardek, throw on another one of these. Like I said, and look at that. We're adding like 700 HP. And the last one, I think we still have one more hiding in someone's inventory somewhere. They might have it equipped. We do definitely have sapphire ones remaining, so if we wanted to go the MP route, then we could do that. Here it is. Okay. So, Donovan, why don't you try that? Because, yeah, with just 700 HP, you're kind of vulnerable there. Let's save up. And you're asking yourself, Lids, what the heck are we doing? What is up with all this preparing ourselves for what is clearly some kind of big battle, right? Well, yes, you're right. And I assure you, that moment is close. Let's just give ourselves a little bit more inventory space here, because I think we're going to probably want to make a point of loading up on some items as well, potions and things of that sort, to make sure that we can heal ourselves up, restore MP, all those things. Because we've definitely seen ourselves going into some fights in the past where we've forgotten to do that, and we've paid the price for it. So I would like to get a little bit ahead of the curve here, make sure that we do that in advance, rather than get caught off guard. So, fortunately, Gope is here, can help us out in that regard. And so Gope, I think the things we're going to want are probably Phoenix Downs. Mardek has plenty of those. Donovan doesn't have too many. Legion has plenty. Burn has plenty. So let's just pick up a few for Donovan here. So we'll do that. Then, other than that, Ethers also can be very important. Let's pick up a ton of those. We blow through them rather quickly. And Donovan, you will be using a fair bit of MP as a spellcaster, I think, so it's not a bad idea to give you some. And you don't yet have any, so that seems like a good place to put some of them. Legion, you do have some. Burn, as do you. Okay, let's actually give one more to Legion in that case. And Mardek, what do you look like? You also have a fair amount. Okay, so we're actually doing okay on the Ether front. Let's give more to Donovan in that case. Okay, I like that. Then remedies, also removing a bunch of statuses. The other type of thing that can trip us up a bit. We are not prepared. So, Legion, do you have any of these? Oh, yes, you do. Yeah, you also have a fair amount of those. That's good. Burn. I thought I remembered that people were running out of these in a previous fight, but maybe I'm mistaken here, because at least the people who we've had most recently are doing okay on that front. Donovan, you could maybe use a few more. Okay. And with that, now I believe we are ready to go. So let's save up after we do this fight, of course. So, go. Goes again. At least it wakes Mardek up. Donovan, tell me you can take this guy out. Like, right now. It's a rogue fairy. It is actually a little bit weak to fire. So that's a good thing to see, because we're going to want to get rid of it immediately. Fortunately, Donovan can do just that. Okay, sure, we'll take our pixie dust. Mostly just want to save up. Heal up. So, what we're going to do is, like we were talking about, head through this door over here. This is the area that has that door that we saw previously that we could not go into. We do now have the little wooden key, so we can, at least in theory, perhaps go in there. Let's check it out. And one could argue, might even be worthwhile, skipping these fights here. making a point of doing things like saving MP, HP. I'm deliberately going to try to avoid using any skills here. Burn. There you see it, the default attack. No MP necessary. It's kind of close, because we have taken off some of his spirit, as we were talking about before. He's not going to be quite as powerful as he was previously, but hopefully still powerful enough. Okay, these guys, yeah, are going to be a fair bit harder to take care of without going a little bit more aggressive on the skills. There you see, Burn is down half of his HP, which is not a good sign. So, these guys, I have a feeling we're going to need to start to use some spells here. They are weak to air, but not fire this time. So, Donovan, I'm not sure how effective this is going to be. Not enough to take him out. What I'm kind of thinking is, sure, I'm hoping Vern can take this guy out here. I missed the reaction. I was holding back a sneeze, and therefore got distracted. Legion, I was kind of hoping that, say, you could just use a thunderstorm and make these guys disappear. And then we make a point of restoring Legion's MP at the end. Oh, this guy with 78 HP, how dare you? Problem here, Mardek does also need to spend some MP for an air slash because we did put back on the Earth Sword. So if we were to use that, then of course, Mardek's attack would be Earth Elemental, and we would likely heal this guy. That's not going to do us any good. So, go that route. We could have seen if perhaps he had one of the damaging potions, which he likely did. Might have been able to save a little bit of MP that way, but either way, maybe we're overthinking it a little bit. Burn did take a lot of damage, though, so we definitely do want to heal him at the very least. And this could perhaps be an opportunity to just load up on using some really weak potions that would take forever to heal off people's wounds in combat, but here, when we can just spam them like crazy, doesn't really matter. So, like I was saying, maybe that's a pretty good case for why it could make sense to skip these battles here. Depending on who you find yourself going against, it could be difficult. These emeralds, they're also going to be tough to take out without, say, Legion going. So I think what we do in that case is we deliberately target the Rexosaurus with Donovan and Vern. That crit helps, yes. Mostly just want to make it so that Vern can definitely take this guy out here. He can. Once again, I think we're going to be relying on Legion. With a Thunderstorm, we are definitely going to want to restore MP on Legion after this, though. Donovan levels up. Suppose there is something to be said for that. So, let us make a point of finding, ideally, probably a Mana Berry would be the best way to restore MP on Legion here, because I'm assuming he doesn't really need a full-blown Ether at this point. But I'm not necessarily sure if we have any Mana Berries at the moment. We may not. So it might be Ether or nothing. So it's a little bit overkill. But we'll live with it. So let's do that here. Let's also throw on some of the other old potions like I was talking about before. That should do the trick. And now, let us see what we find over here. Getting close. Need to go up and around just one more time. And our room is right here. So what the heck is here, Lids? What is behind this door that you've been so concerned about? This little wooden key, where does it lead us? That chest. I don't trust that chest. Because it has a dragon in it. Donovan almost got one shot. Okay, so let's take a look at this here, Red Dragon. Is that what you guys were thinking we would find here? Maybe, maybe not. What with all the stacking, the fire resistance, and all that. So, it has a lot of attack. As we just saw, it was, yeah, almost able to take out Donovan in one hit. Might have been the difference between him leveling up and not leveling up there. So, other than that, lots of fire resistance, lots of water weakness, a little bit of air resistance, a little bit of, actually a lot of ether resistance, interestingly. A little bit of defenses for both physical and magical defense. So, what the heck do we do to this guy? Does have, at least at the moment, null every element other than light and dark. and does have haste as well. So for that reason, that means if we were to say use a blaze, then you would know it right now. I mean, that being said, we're not going to want to use a blaze because you heal. So why did we bring Donovan in a fight where we're expecting for this guy to not be able to take any damage from fire? One reason and one reason only. No fire. So, Donovan, I mean, we are definitely going to want to heal you. But the question is, do we do that now? Or do we put on null fire first? Because I'm kind of thinking we put on null fire first. Just to cover our bases here. Make it so that if this dragon does get a powerful attack off, we are relatively safe. And so, Vern, you could be the one to restore some of Donovan's HP, because the dragon does go next. So I think we kind of do need to make that happen now. So we can store 500 HP, which is not going to be maximum amount here, but hopefully it's enough, considering that we do have that null fire on. Dragon Force healed him and gave him +1 to every possible attribute. So, get in the sense that this is the kind of fight we want to finish quickly, because otherwise this guy is going to get stronger and stronger. So let's use things like Tsunami to attack very aggressively. It will be nulled, which perhaps we could have used something like Bubble Breath, which is a little bit weaker, save a little bit of MP because it costs a little bit less MP, and save the Tsunamis for when we know we're actually going to deal damage with it, but I may have just forgotten. So, the thing with Mardek is we could use a Water Slash. That would of course be the most offensive route for us to take, or we could throw on shields and magic shields. This would be the slow and patient approach that might ultimately pay dividends, but if we're concerned about this dragon outpowering us if we take a long time, then that might be reason to go a more direct offensive route. So, not entirely sure what the best answer here is. Donovan, like we were saying, is perhaps the most vulnerable. Let's try putting a physical shield on him. He might be the only one who needs it. And I missed that reaction. But fortunately it dealt 0 damage because Vern is using the Night Jacket. So he did get a bleed on him notably, and there are very few times when we've seen that status afflicted on people, so a little bit odd. It was, again, dark, which was not necessarily something we were planning for. Donovan here, like I was saying before, you're mostly here for the null fire once, and everyone does still have that. So other than that, that probably means that you are going to be the person who uses a lot of items to remove statuses. And you can make the case that we don't necessarily need to remove bleed right now, but the kind of thing which, over the course of a long fight, will start to add up. So let's get rid of it as soon as possible. As for you, Vern, let's try Divine Glory, see how much damage we're talking about here. Remember that the red dragon does not have null light, so this will deal damage immediately. 1,900-ish. There's its attack, and it misses Mardek, so that's good to see. So we got rid of a little chunk of that HP there. Let's now use Tsunami, because now it'll make a difference. How much of a difference, you ask? A little over 2,000 damage, so that's something. That is something. Mardek. Now that Donovan does have a shield on, do we try to heal him up a little bit? Because he's still not on full HP? Do we put magic shields on people, physical shields on other people, or do we go the offense route? I think we might want to use a Water Slash here. Go the offensive route. Donovan, on your turn, you will either do one of two things. You will heal yourself if nothing really bad happens, and then if someone else gets some kind of dangerous status on them, or gets really hurt, then you'll use an item to heal them instead. So let's use Water Slash here. Again, deliberately trying to go offensively, because that is actually the most powerful attack we've seen thus far. And yeah, those non-elemental attacks seem like they might actually be the most dangerous, because they're hard to mitigate. We were planning around the fire resistance, and we, of course, also have the null fires, which, I'll tell you what, given how we put on the fire resistance, the null fire might not be terribly meaningful at this stage. But anyways, maybe a little bit duplicative in that sense. Also, remove Numbness. Numbness is, of course, something that tends to be affiliated with fire damage, so if we find that our physical attackers get numb on them, Donovan is capable of removing that. We could have done it with a remedy or balloon juice with someone else, but it gives us a little bit of versatility. So, we were saying that if someone got hurt, Donovan, you would probably want to heal them. Otherwise, you'd heal yourself. I think Legion did, in fact, get barely hurt here, so we probably do want to go that route. Ideally, I think, yeah, we'd use a Mugwort Juice. That is probably the ideal amount of healing, because it is 500. Well, Legion could use a little bit more than that. Let's stick with this. If he gets hit by the same attack, then he should still be alive. Then we Divine Glory again, I believe, for roughly 2,000 more damage. Actually, I think that is precisely the same amount of damage that Vern dealt last time. Vern did get one shot there, and I'm pretty sure he was on full HP, but we did not put on a physical shield. So that's worth noting. We will, of course, want to bring him back. The question is, with whom? And I think the answer is probably still with Donovan. So, Legion, let's keep pouring on the damage with you. So using Tsunami is probably the way to go. It does use 20 MP, and you're only at 53 right now, about to be 33. So we can't do this for that much longer. But I think, likewise, Donovan, you're probably going to be applying the MP items on Legion as well. Mardek, keep on attacking, man. Keep on attacking. Physical shields, yes, we would kind of like them for perhaps these exact circumstances. And even though I missed the reaction, Legion is somehow still alive right now. So, well done, Legion. So, Donovan, you could heal Legion, or you could resurrect Vern. I think we resurrect Vern, because Legion, if you don't get attacked, then you should be safe. Vern is dead. So he's definitely not doing anything in his current state, and he does go next, I believe. Yes. So we could use this turn to have Vern heal himself with an item, or we could just continue to use damage, which I think is starting to add up a bit. Yeah, I would most like for you to hit Mardek, because he is the most defensive, especially if we actually hit our reactions. So keep on doing that. That way, Legion's still safe. Use the Tsunami here. And will not have the MP to do that next time, notably. So Mardek, now you have an interesting predicament here. I'm thinking you actually do heal, because there are multiple people who need it, including yourself. So I think this is probably worthwhile to do a party-wide heal. You're the only person who can do this of our current group members. And, ooh, the shield made a difference there, for sure. Donovan, you could further heal Legion, but I think more important is perhaps to throw on an Ether to restore MP. So remember, Legion was not going to be able to use the Tsunami next turn, unless we did that. Burn does cost a lot of MP to use Divine Glory as well. Legion, oh, that was close. That was close. Okay, let's Tsunami next, because you can still do it. And this might get to the point where the Red Dragon starts going into the yellowish-orange HP. Yes, okay, so a little bit of progress there in that totally arbitrary way. But now, Mardek, Legion is still not looking good. Dragon does go after you, so I think that might be necessary for you to heal here. And I'm thinking we might actually want to use an item, because I think some of these items are more powerful than Mardek's healing ability. If we were to say, use 1,000 HP is a pretty good amount, yes. Also removes any statuses, which Legion does not really have. So that's not perfect in that sense. Big Juice would be 2,000 HP, which would definitely be overkill in the HP sense, but doesn't remove statuses, so it's not overkill in that sense. So, take your pick. Let's go with, I think the Fig Juice is a little bit easier to get, so let's use that. And it was timely. It was timely as well. Okay, so Donovan, you're next, and you could follow up with more healing yourself. I think you only had one of those potions that we were using last time round. So, no Mugwort juices remaining. That was the 500 HP boost, which would be roughly the right amount here. So again, we're probably looking at a bit of overkill this time around if we were to re-heal Legion. I think we probably do want to do it, though. We do have a lot of those big juices, though. Donovan, at least. So, keep on the Divine Glory, and I think the damage... The aggressive playstyle is paying off here. Oh, Vern, we knew you had a chance to get one shot if that did land. Fortunately, it didn't. But yeah, this could have been a much longer fight if we had gone the more defensive route we were talking about before and making a point of putting on all the shields with Mardek rather than attacking. And we might still want to throw on a shield for Vern, because Vern is definitely the second most vulnerable after Donovan. And Donovan, if no one else gets hurt here, then you're probably going to heal yourself, because that was at risk of happening. One could make the case that there isn't that much reason to bring back Donovan. I think we probably do prioritize dealing the damage here. Actually, of all the people we have up right now, who deals the least damage? I think the answer is Vern. He's dealt 1,890 damage basically every time. Legion, on the low end, deals that much, but can deal a little bit more, up to 200-300 more than that. So I think we probably use Vern to do the Phoenix downing here. And we hope that the dragon does not proceed to do precisely this. Thanks, dragon. Alright, fine. Vern will use a Phoenix down on his next turn as well. Thank you very much. Tsunami next. And at the very least, starting to rack up that damage there now. The red dragon is red. So we saw in the past with some of the guardians that they had some sort of healing and shielding abilities that were actually light elemental, and that you could prevent them from using that with morality block, applying it to them rather than ourselves. Now, I don't recall as to whether the red dragon has that as well. It's not the end of the world if we throw this on here, because worst comes to worst, we do apply a Dark Null, which is not going to do anything, because we probably aren't planning on using any dark abilities here. Legion does have some, but Tsunami will still be better. It would, however, null the light attack from Vern with a Divine Glory, at least for one round, because that is, of course, light elemental, so that's the worst possible thing that can happen, is we waste a turn with Vern. Best case is we find that the dragon has some sort of special skill like we were talking about, and we get rid of that. So Vern, the other thing is we were planning on using a Phoenix down here, so it's not even like we were about to use Divine Glory. And, oh man, it's like he knows! The dragon knows! Okay. Oh, the dragon? Hold on. Did the dragon put back on all the nulls? Did I miss that part? Maybe. Because he has a null air right now, and I don't remember... Because he has a null light right now, and I don't remember him having that, because, of course, Vern was previously attacking with light abilities, so... Strange. Doesn't have null water, though, so I suppose we keep on doing this. And Legion will be out of MP, or at least won't have enough MP to do this next turn. Mardek, the dragon is getting quite low here, so I think we probably can Water Slash. And that gets him 1-2 hits away. There is the Dispel. Oh, on us, actually, not on him. So maybe it wasn't terribly worthwhile. Oh, also I'm realizing, of course, the dragon has Null Light and Null Dark. We just put it on with Mardek. Duh. We did that, not him. So, I think Vern, here you're still trying to Phoenix down for Donovan, and third time's the charm? Question mark? Please don't attack Donovan? At this point, seriously, dude? Alright, so, Legion, we could, well, potentially take out the dragon here. However, we want to make sure that Donovan is up to get the experience for it, at least ideally. So we'll keep on throwing the Phoenix downs at him. Dragon does go next, or at least after Mardek, rather. So maybe this is an opportunity to heal Donovan, or heal everybody? There is also one skill from the Red Dragon that Legion can learn that I don't think he has yet used on Legion, so Legion has not had the opportunity to pick that up just yet. It is a skill that is also very rare, difficult to pick up. There are some other bosses that teach it. Are you serious? That's 4 times in a row! But the other enemies that use it are, at least the one that comes to mind is the Security Demon. And so that was one of the other reasons why I wanted to try to get Legion as quickly as possible, was ideally we would have Legion for that fight, so that Legion would have the possibility of learning that ability from the Security Demon. And obviously we can't fight the Security Demon anymore. Security Demon is down. So this might be one of, if not our last opportunity to learn that skill for Legion. So for that reason, we kind of want to bide our time, similar to what we did with the Earth Guardian, waiting for it to use its Earthquake ability, so that Legion can learn that as well. And that means the quest to keep Donovan alive continues 4 times in a row. That's the answer. It ends there, not 5. So, with that in mind, can we do anything to make sure that Donovan does not die this next dragon turn? Well, we could perhaps heal him with Legion, using a Mugwort Juice. Let's do that. And Mardek can put on a shield, is what I'm thinking. And then as soon as the dragon uses the ability that we're looking for, then we can take it out. Good thing we put on that shield, huh? It really does not like Donovan. So, Donovan, you probably should heal yourself. The thing is, well, you don't have a great item with which to do that, other than complete overkill with the elixir. God Piss, also, storing the HP and MP is not super necessary right now. I think we probably use another Fig Juice, which I don't love, because those are quite good. And Vern, you also could kind of use a heal yourself. Mugwort Juice is a good balance for you, though. That gets you basically right at maximum HP. You have the shield on as well, so good thing that we did heal you there, otherwise you might have gone down there. But we're still waiting for the dragon to attack Legion. And Legion, you do still need MP yourself. You could heal Vern after that attack. I think that might not be a bad idea. And then Mardek, on your turn, you'll continue to add more physical shields. I think this time we'll do it to Legion. Legion being the next most vulnerable. Mardek is actually down to 6 MP, notably. Please spell, though. Does that get rid of the shield? It does. So much for that. In that case, would really love if you would use the ability that we are waiting for you to use. That would be quite helpful. Could throw back on Nullfire, because people are actually all on maximum HP here. Or close to it. Now maximum. Though we could have, say, thrown on some MP for Mardek, because he is completely out right now, or close to it. So let's throw an Ether on him. That's important for him to be MP'd up. That's a physical attack, yes, but it's not the one we're looking for. The one we're looking for, I believe, is called Bloodclaw. It is that dark attack. One that he used on Vern very early on, but has not used since, or used very seldomly since. So, Legion, you're also pretty low on MP. You're also somewhat low on HP here. You could Mugwort Juice yourself. You could Ether yourself. Mardek does go next. So I think what you do is you restore the MP now, and then Mardek will restore your HP with a heal. Now that Mardek has his own MP back. So at this point, yeah, we're biding time. We're just trying to stay alive. That is the ability right there. We need you to use that on Legion, not Vern. So we could remove that, the bleed effect, the remedy, which I suppose is worthwhile. Vern, anything else you can do to load up on some more defenses? We do have a Mirror Elixir, which applies both a magical and physical shield. Could be a quick way to throw on both of those, but at the moment it's not super necessary. You could restore a little bit of your own MP, Vern. That's not necessary per se right now, so I think we might actually just pass with you. Dragon uses Dragon Force, which will heal it, give it no water, and give it a little bit more of all its attributes. So it is powering up. That was the thing that we were saying at the beginning we wanted to be mindful of, that if we waited a long time, then it might load up on that and become unstoppable. So we don't want to let it do that over and over again, but I'm hoping that at some point the dragon will opt to use the skill that we wanted to use, Bloodclaw, against Legion, and that, well, won't have enough time to load up on those Dragon Forces, and using just a normal physical attack. That's not what we want. We need you to help us out here. Ideally, we'd be using a Mugwort Juice for Legion, but we don't have one on Donovan here, so we could just stick to a better potion, which is a little bit of HP. It's 200 rather than 500. Vern, do you have one of those as well? You do. So at least collectively, that's almost the same. It should be enough HP for Legion to avoid going down to any hits here. Well, same cannot be said for Donovan, of course. Probably should have just thrown on a shield for Donovan immediately, as soon as we brought him back up, because, well, this is deja vu all over again at this point. But Dragon, this could be so much easier if you would just use that ability on Legion, and then we could call this a day. And there is the fire ability that we were preparing for, and yet, seemingly Dragon only used it at one time? Maybe at the very beginning? But we had the nulls on, we had so much fire resistance that it basically did nothing at all to us. If not, in the case of Donovan, actually healed him. So, in fact, he might not have been on full HP. He might have still been on half HP after using the Phoenix Down. So that actually legitimately helped. Could throw on another better potion for Legion, because why not? Not at full HP right now. Vern, do the same thing. And Mr. Dragon, please cooperate. That's not what cooperating looks like. You do have enough HP remaining after you heal a little bit that we could use another one of our skills here to get you a little bit lower. This is a little bit risky in case we find that we get extremely lucky with the damage. You did have one null though. And we could also say remove the light with something like a Divine Glory from Vern or just a weaker non-skill attack there, because that'll also be light elemental, just to prepare ourselves for taking the dragon out as soon as possible once it does use the skill that we want it to use. Mardek, you yourself are not currently on maximum HP, so we could also use a relatively minor potion on you, because you're not hurting too badly right now. Oh! Haven't seen that one yet. That's another reason to take out the red dragon relatively quickly. So we lowered our strength and our spirit, which is not obvious on Vern because Vern already had those things boosted, but say someone like Legion who did not, you can see that that did make a bit of a difference there. So the red dragon is doing some attrition tactics on us right now, and not loving it. I think we had enough firepower that we weren't too much at risk. Oh, I meant to use no fire, not removed on this, but hopefully that doesn't matter. But yeah, we were powerful enough that I'm hoping that that doesn't make a difference, or at least it won't for a while. We'll still have enough ability to deal damage that when we do make our move, we'll be able to do it. There you see, everyone healing up, so that's good. We were prepared for that one. I deliberately used just a normal attack on Burn there so that we remove the null light like I was saying before. And we could Tsunami like we were saying before. In theory, you have enough HP that this shouldn't take you down. And I was ready to eat my words there. And so, Donovan, yes, you do still have a shield on. Let's throw a shield on Burn as well. I know the dragon can remove it, yes, but at least short term, it is nice. Just a physical attack, that's not the right one. He doesn't want to cooperate. Heal up Legion. And then, guess what? Heal up Legion. Still the wrong person, but good thing that we put on that shield, because otherwise you would have gone down there, Bird. So we could Mugwort Juice? Yeah, let's Mugwort Juice for Burn. That'll be the right amount, roughly. A little bit shy of maximum HP. And Mardek, you could maybe even do a party heal. Get a little bit on Burn, and a little bit more on Legion. And the red dragon goes next. Fingers crossed. I mean, you miss, which is nice, but at the same time, definitely still not what we're looking for. And we really don't need the Nullfire because we actually heal to it. Even if we miss our reactions, most people will heal to it. So Legion is technically not on full HP, so we could still use a potion. This would be overkill, yes, but sure. We aren't really using those better potions for much else, so just gonna pass. Here's the Ferocious Roar. So the more the dragon does that, the more we start to get concerned, because one time round, lowering our spirit and strength a bit, not the end of the world, no. If we start getting to the point where our stats are extremely low and we are no longer able to break through the 12 defense and magic defense at all, then suddenly this becomes almost impossible. We might need to resort to some clever tactics like applying a poison with a noxious bomb. Rather not have to go that route. So, come on, dragon. Cooperate. So, Mardek, you can also pass. Cooperate. Nope. Wrong person. Right skill, wrong person. So, there you see what happens when people actually take their turn when they have a bleed. It's very similar to poison that they do take damage from it. It's a little bit harder to remove, and I think it might be slightly more damage than a poison does. That's why I was making a point of getting rid of it as soon as people had that applied. And Vern, you could say also heal Donovan. Do you have a better potion? Yeah, that's probably... I mean, it's not going to fully heal, but still roughly the right amount. Rather not super over heal, well, except we probably should have, because there goes Donovan. So, the quest to keep Donovan alive. Chapter 7 at this point, something like that. Do we prioritize the shield, or do we prioritize the heal? I think the shield, because if the dragon uses a fire ability, then that actually helps us out heal. that will do the healing for us, and, well, we might have seen that one coming. How, you ask? History repeats itself. That's how. Still no. And at some point, I think we will need to draw the line. Like I was saying, eventually the dragon is capable of whittling down our stats and boosting its own stats, that this is going to become far more difficult than it was at the beginning. So, let's see. Donovan does still need a heal here. So I think we go more better potions if we have them on you, Legion, but it seems like we don't. So do we go with a crazy overheal here? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, we know what's going to happen next, right? Dragon's just going to annihilate him. But we throw on a shield. It'll at least take 2 turns to pull that off. He goes straight for him again. No mercy. No mercy. We'll try it again. Another better potion. Did we learn from last time? No, not really. This is roughly the same amount of HP that Donovan had previously. Normal attack, not the blood claw. Dragon, you gotta help us out here. You gotta help us out here. And no, it's not blood drain. It is blood claw. It is a separate skill. They are both dark elemental. Yes, they sound similar, but they are separate skills. And like I said, it's a powerful skill. This is one of the only places you can get it. So want to make a point of picking it up here if we can. But at some point, we will need to draw the line. So, Legion, you can heal yourself. You can heal Donovan. I'm thinking we actually have Mardek heal on his turn. Do a party-wide heal. Let's go that route. Legion, I don't think it will fully heal you up, but it will fully heal Donovan. And Legion, you can usually take a hit. I would love to see the percentage of attacks that the Red Dragon has targeted at Donovan specifically, compared to, say, someone like, I mean, everyone in the party, yes, but Mardek has taken, what, maybe 2 hits? Donovan has taken probably 20. Donovan, you haven't mastered Nullfire, so I mean, we could do that for the sake of doing that. But also, you're not on full HP, so we probably need to do something about that. You're going to start running out of HP restoring potions pretty darn soon. So that's going to become a factor as well. But we've already started to run out of the most ideal types of potions to heal. Because at this point, with Vern, we'd have to overheal a lot. Well, we could use another better potion, and probably won't be enough if the dragon targets you, and we know what's likely to happen here. Well, you're gonna... Oh, miss on Donovan, so Donovan will keep his shield. Vern loses his. Legion, you could, well, take your pick. You could heal Donovan a little bit more. I don't think you have any better potions, so you don't have one that would be roughly the right amount. You would have to, again, super overheal. So you're probably passing, or if you really wanted to give Vern MP, you could do that. Maybe. Mardek also is at roughly half MP right now. Wouldn't be a terrible idea to give him some. Would be over MPing though. So let's reapply the shield for Vern. Dragon goes next. Attacks Donovan with the skill that we want for you to use on Legion. The bleed almost takes him out, notably. So let's... Do we heal now, or do we remove the status now? I think we actually heal now. Then we remove the status. Because Vern, you should have remedies. Yeah. So you can get rid of the bleed. Come on, Dragon. Do it. That's not what I wanted you to do. It's not. Okay, I'm thinking we wait for one more Ferocious Roar. Once the Dragon does that, we have to cut ourselves off, because otherwise we are putting ourselves at pretty serious risk. Dragon may not opt to use that Blood Claw skill on Legion anytime soon, and if that does remain the case, then we're going to find that we may not be able to take this guy down at all. So, we are, of course, playing with fire in more ways than one right now, and maybe we're going to suffer the consequences of that. Also take note, because our spirit is going down when the dragon uses that ability, our maximum MP is going down. With Vern, he had a ton to start with, so that's maybe not terribly noticeable, but for Legion, who only had 10 spirit to start with, now all the way down to 5, that means only 42 MP, which means that's 2 tsunamis worth. If our MP were to continue to go down, then we might even get to the point where Legion is not even capable of using a tsunami. That's Not really something that I was even considering before, but I suppose is perhaps on the table at this point. It's possible. So I don't think there's anyone we need to heal except maybe you yourself, Legion, a little bit. Except we don't really have a great way to apply just a little bit of healing. So I think we pass with you. Mardek either heals or maybe even throws on regen. I know the dragon can remove statuses, so that may only last for a very short time. Now you're just making me mad. Use it on Legion, not Donovan. You've used it like 4 times on Donovan. Use it on Legion. So, Donovan, you probably do need to heal yourself. You are, like we said before, running out of healing potions. This is going to become a problem. So, Vern, do you still have better potions? You do. Dragon could probably still take out Donovan here if it were to target him, and it probably will. That is a normal attack. The wrong kind. Wrong kind. So, if we were to do something like, oh, I don't know, Legion, you definitely could use a heal at this point. A more direct heal at that. Could have Mardek use either an item or a targeted heal on you specifically. That might be okay. Let's actually use a remedy to remove the bleed on Donovan. Oh, the other thing is, hold on. Are those ferocious roars reducing vitality as well? I think so, because Donovan's vitality is 9? I noticed because he currently has 500 HP total. I believe that was about 800 at the beginning of this fight. So Donovan, even with a shield, I'm not sure if he can take a hit. So that's, again, reason to not prolong this fight. Mardek, now you heal Legion. And at this point, yeah, the heal is less as well. Things are getting very close here. So, we could, well, I don't know, Legion kind of sort of needs a heal a little bit. Don't have any small heals remaining, as we previously established. So, I'm not sure you have much to do here, Donovan, other than, say, using Nullifier once for the sake of mastering the skill or getting closer to it. There is actually a downside to this, that being that we want the dragon to use fire skills, they heal us. Nullifier means that they won't do anything to us, so that is worse. So, bit of a trade-off here, deliberately making a point of getting closer to mastering an ability with Donovan, when perhaps we should just be thinking, purely in the short term, let's win this fight. Because that is becoming more and more of a risk here that we don't have the ability to pull that off. So, Vern, do you have any items to heal Legion? You do. Let's do that here. This dragon does go next, and the dragon uses a normal attack! Keeps on using normal attacks on Legion and Blood Claw on Donovan. If you just swap this around, this fight could have lasted a half the amount of time that it is currently taking us. Maybe even a third. So, Legion, yeah, you're still quite hurt. Mardek does go next, so Mardek could heal you. That is possible, and I think we do that. Might need to be with an item, though, because as we saw, with Lowered Spirit, Mardek's healing is, it's not that great anymore. 1,000 HP would actually be the right amount here, but I'm hoping that 500 will be enough. Won't get you to max. And there you have it. Donovan, with the shield on, still cannot tank that hit. So I think that means that we are in, or at least very much approaching Code Red territory. I think we need to bring Donovan back, and we might need to take out this dragon next turn. We'll, of course, be able to take out Donovan here. I was about to say, if you choose right now to use that skill on Legion, that would be crazy. How patient are we willing to be? It's getting close. It's been getting close for a while, of course, but, Legion, again, you don't really have any items to heal yourself. So do we just pass with you here? We might. Could heal, well, but we can't heal Donovan either. But we could use an elixir, and that would fully restore HP and MP. That feels like serious overinvestment because these are really expensive. So I think we pass. And Mardek, you heal. And then next go round, if things don't improve, we're attacking. And, well, Mardek, the correct potion here would be what? Chocolate milk heals just about the right amount of HP. That's your only powerful healing potion. You could use a better potion. That's only 200, though. I think that would not get Legion high enough on HP to avoid getting taken out next time. So I think we use chocolate milk. That's also pretty expensive. It's not the one we're looking for. I think we do it now. I don't think we have much option but to pull the trigger here. So, we use Nullfire. Like I was saying before, we don't really need or arguably even want it short term. Purely for the sake of Donovan's long-term progress towards mastering that. But Vern, I think we need to use Divine Glory now, and I'm not sure what the damage is going to look like, because previously you had a lot more Spirit. You are still technically in the green on Spirit. You're still +1, but that is after we boosted a ton of Spirit. Strength is -3 right now, so I think you will still, I mean, you should still deal damage, I would hope. How much? 959. Dragon is very low. I was going to say, if it took that last turn to use skill on Legion, perhaps your last chance to get it done there. We will bring Legion back at the very least. Dragon will go next. And I was still holding out that final hope that the Dragon will do that last-minute skill. Also, I feel like that little marking on the Dragon's shoulder there kind of looks like a dragon, doesn't it? There is its head right there, a little spiral at the end, and those are its wings. And then it kind of just cuts off for the back half of its body, but we've seen a lot of that. The Golem had something similar. So, okay. I think what we're doing here is we can use another round of Nullfires on Donovan. And then what we do is with Vern, we're attacking. And if we take this dragon out, we take the dragon out. Because, we know Vern should have enough damage to do it, assuming he lands a hit. We are, yeah, for that reason, theoretically 1 hit away. Does that mean we're willing to wait a little bit longer? Maybe. But we could be here forever at this stage, right? So, of course, as we were saying previously when we were talking about trying to learn skills on Legion in the past, the most efficient way to do that is to deliberately remove other people from the party. You do always have to have Mardek in your party, so you will definitely have him, but you can do just Mardek and Legion. That way, there's a 50% chance that any skills can be used against Legion. And just think about all those blood claws that the Red Dragon used on Donovan that could have been on Legion in that case. It's just that, you know, taking out the Red Dragon with just 2 party members is far easier said than done. So, what do we do here? I think we're getting really clever this time around. We are probably going to regret this, but just going to heal up as a group. Look at how much less Mardek is healing here. Wrong person. Vern, surprisingly, can tank that. And, well, I mean, we'll Nullfire, because we can Nullfire. Even if it's technically bad, we'll do it. Donovan's getting close to mastering it. Maybe instead of learning Blood Claw, we'll master Nullfire, except you can do that whenever, and you can't use Blood Claw whenever, so... Still don't feel great about it. But at this point, not a lot we can do other than just heal up a little bit. Dragon will go next. And attack Vern. Vern's probably would have been down, I think. Not sure 518 life would have been enough. So, Legion. And you really don't have much to do here, so I think you're passing as well. Mardek, you can do a party heal. Dragon goes next. Wrong person, wrong attack. So, maybe we use Nullfire getting mastered as our cutoff point. Just finding other ways to try to justify staying in this fight. Seeing if we can ultimately get the dragon to use the skill we wanted to use on the right person. But obviously, as you can see here, far easier said than done. Donovan will absolutely go down to that, no question. Could Phoenix down him. And then Mardek could do a party heal, or could apply the shield on Donovan accepts, well, Mardek is starting to run out of MP here, so we actually can't do that. And we know that a shield is not really going to make a difference for Donovan. So, we just restore some MP on Mardek. Also might not be necessary if we're about to decide to ultimately take this dragon out. Okay, so there go the nulls, and it's also boosting itself. That means that we are no longer at least one water skill away. It doesn't apply a null light. So, Vern, you are still in the clear to use Divine Glory. There's at least that. The Legion, it would take 2 turns. One to get rid of the null water, and the other to actually use the Tsunami. And you might not have enough damage at this point to actually take it out in one hit with Tsunami. There are the nulls actually doing something, except, like we said before, it's technically not a good thing, because we would have healed up there, and it might be the most effective way to heal at this point. So, Vern, I think you're probably okay using Divine Glory here, because you are unlikely to take him out. And Legion, again, I think we're passing. Mardek, you're healing. And that's the other thing. Mardek with less MP means that we're going to have to use the MP restoring items more frequently. So yeah, Donovan, sorry, buddy. And actually, notably, the dragon has boosted its stats enough that it now has enough agility to go twice in a row, it seemed? Might have been because, it's because it took out Donovan. So previously it was Dragon, Donovan, Vern, Dragon. But now basically the dragon has jumped ahead of Vern in the order with its second turn, because it's faster now. So, again, things are just going to get more difficult the longer we wait. So, the level of concern rises higher. Didn't know that was possible, but yet it happens. Mardek, you heal, and we cross our fingers. Oh, you really got my hopes up there. You really got my hopes up there. Saw you going after Legion, and for a second I thought that might have been it. Alas, it was not. We could restore some life on Legion with the God Piss. Now remember, Legion can go down and we'll still learn the ability, so we don't need Legion to survive. The primary reason why we're trying to keep people alive is, first of all, to make sure that we don't get behind the 8 ball here and actually have everyone drop and then obviously lose. But also because when we do take out the dragon, we want to have everyone alive, because presumably it'll give us a lot of XP. So, dragon does go next. If it does target Legion, Legion likely will go down. But you know what? Go ahead, go for it. He went for it. Wrong skill. Okay, so Vern does not have any Phoenix Downs. Phoenix Pinion, yes, which would restore full HP when we bring back Legion, which is not a terrible idea, but at the same time, maybe not necessarily. Vern, you did have a Fig Juice. Not sure if I realized that you still had one of those, but not entirely relevant at the moment. Mostly looking for, I think, a pass here, really. And Mardek, you will use a Phoenix Down, or maybe a Phoenix Pinion, to bring back Legion. Dragon, do it. I dare you. That's not what I meant when I said do it. Let me be a little more specific. Please use Bloodclaw against Legion. That is all that I ask that you do. And here is us mastering Nullifier. So that is done. We were saying that might be our cutoff. There it is. And the dragon used it on Donovan. Again. So, Vern, what are we thinking? You cannot bring back Donovan, at least not without a Phoenix Pinion, which does seem like overkill. So let's pass on you. We'll have Legion use Phoenix Down on Donovan. Mardek, if, say, you were to use a Water Slash, it would get null. So we can't take you out in one turn here, Red Dragon. Why don't we use this, remove the null, then that means that just about anyone can take you out in one hit here. So now we're going to want to bring back Vern. And, okay, Donovan can do that, yes, but Dragon will go next, so we might proceed to just take out Vern again. Or Donovan, for that matter. And so, yeah, it's turned into a game of whack-a-mole now, I'm afraid. where we are burning through Phoenix Downs right and left. Bring people back, at least for now. And so, if we wanted to, there's no more null water. Therefore, if Mardek were to use, say, a water slash, we would definitely be able to take out the red dragon. I'm pretty sure, based on how this was previously our strongest skill, this would have enough damage to do it in one hit. Mardek's running pretty low on MP, so if we were to wait, then we might not be able to do it anymore. But, yeah, I mean, -6 strength and spirit. Most of the strength is the important part for Mardek. The spirit doesn't affect his firepower with his physical attacks. But, I think that should certainly still be enough to take it out. Do we do it now? I mean, I want to learn that skill in case that isn't clear. I also want to make sure that we actually take out this red dragon. But those two things seem to be at conflict with one another. In case that was not apparent before, it certainly is the case now. Even if you keep on punching Mardek, even he can't take all of those hits. You see, Mardek there is, well, he still has 1,000 HP, yes. Could even use Fig Juice on Mardek. I suppose if Mardek goes down, then we are in really bad shape, because he's the one that's generally healing people, at least with spells, and keeping people alive for that reason. We could use an Ether on Mardek, because he's pretty low on the MP. Let's do that. And Mardek, we're pressed with the same question. Do we attack? Do we heal? Do we do something else defensive? We bide our time. Again. Faintest glimmer of hope when you approach Legion like that. It wasn't meant to be. Not this time. Not this time. Not Mardek. That's the wrong person as well. Burn. I mean, better potion Legion. Again, it technically doesn't matter all that much, because Legion, you're gonna go down no matter what at this point. Burn, you might not. Let's actually use on Burn for that reason. And could we just pass Legion? Healing, like I said, doesn't make a huge difference on Legion here because we don't have anything that will heal enough to keep you alive. And then MP is not really necessary. I mean, Donovan's a little bit low, but that's not a terribly pressing concern. Mardek, you could heal Legion. I think you were surprisingly low on healing items. Better potion is also not going to make much of a difference here. 200 HP is not going to be a difference maker. So we could do a targeted heal on Legion, but that's not really going to help. I still don't think that's going to be enough. We can throw on a shield on Burn. Might be enough defenses for him to survive a hit. Again. You attack Legion, you don't use the skill. Okay, so I double-checked. There are still a couple of people from whom Legion can learn this skill. So tell you what, I think for that reason, we do probably draw the line here. Let's bring back Legion. The objective here is just have everyone alive when we take out the dragon. And Roar, oh, that actually is Fire Elemental, so we did know that on most people. But Vern, will you be the one to do the honors? I don't think you're going to have enough damage here, especially not after having your stats lowered even more after that. But this will get us close. Quite close at that. And now, Legion, perhaps it is fitting for you to be the one to exact revenge here. Why don't you finish off the Red Dragon with a Tsunami? And with that, Red Dragon down. Bloodclaw may not have learned that. However, we pick up the Red Dragon Scales, which is a plot item, and a Phoenix Pinion. Well, these lots and lots of Phoenix Downs. Don't think we had to resort to any Phoenix Pinions, but yes, in some ways a victory, but still feel like we're missing out a bit there. And as we know, we did, of course, master Nullifier once, and that chest is now complete. So, let's take a quick look at that plot item there. The scales from a red dragon. They're extremely durable, harder than many metals, and are great to use as a material when forging weapons or armor. Okay. Sounds like for that reason, I mean, we do, of course, know someone who is a bit of a master in the art of making weapons and armor, so we might want to check in with the blacksmith at Santusi and see if he has anything that he can do with the red dragon scales. There wasn't anything listed on his items before that used that as an ingredient, but perhaps he'll make an exception if we were to, say, present the materials to him. And with that, I think this is a good place for us to wrap up here. Like I said, ideally we would have learned Blood Claw from the red dragon. That would have been the best thing to do. Take it out and learn that ability as well, and maybe also not have to burn through 90% of all of our items. But there are still a couple of enemies that we can learn it from. It's just, as we saw there, it's not always the easiest of things to get the enemy to use the specific skill you want on the specific person you want that to be used on. So hopefully next time we'll have a little bit more luck with that. But either way, I'll catch you guys next time.